Well, the housing market has been abysmal this year, to say the least, right? Home prices have been reaching an all-time high, forcing many house hunters to change their plans. And they're also impacting older people struggling to sell their homes in order to downsize. Logan Mohtashami, lead analyst for Housing Wire, joins us now live with more on this crisis. Logan, thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure to be here.
So, Logan, we always think about this as a younger person's issue. You know, we've been talking about the struggles that younger people might have when it comes to renting or even purchasing their first home. Now we're talking about the older generation, how the older generation has been struggling to sell theirs. They've got these huge homes and they want to downsize. How big of an impact is this having overall on the housing market?
Well, generally, this problem has been here for decades. You know, the median size home that we built in 1975 was about 1,500 square foot. It got as high as 2,700 square foot in 2014. So over the decades, we've been building bigger and bigger homes as our family sizes have been getting smaller. So the product that would be available for baby boomers to downsize just simply isn't there in some areas. You'd have to look for homes that were very old, maybe in the 1940s and 60s. So it's problematic in that sense. But again, it's the baby boomers haven't been downsizing as much as people had thought for the last 10 years. But you can see the issue with the product availability that we have been building for decades just doesn't fit their lifestyle.
And I'm guessing that this is all happening because right now you have mortgage rates going up, you have inventory down. It looks like there is a recession on the horizon. Where is this happening the most? Is this a regional problem across parts of the country? Is this a national issue?
Well, I coined the housing market as savagely unhealthy. What's happened since 2014, total inventory data has been slowly falling every single year. And then come 2020, the biggest housing demographic patch ever, the millennials ages 28 to 34, they came into their first time home buying prime age. And then all of a sudden inventory cracked to all-time lows. And even this year, at the start of the year, we started at all-time lows, and then home prices accelerated really from 2020 and on. And to top it all off, mortgage rates have had a 2 to 3% increase in 1 year. So you have a lot of variables working in right now to basically make it probably one of the most unhealthiest housing markets, because prices are still rising. Mortgage rates are rising right now. We have all this price inflation. So nothing is really cheap anymore. So you have to be able to sell your house and then find something you want to move in. And a lot of people are just living in their homes longer. From 1985 to 2007, the average housing tenure was 5 to 7 years. From 2008 to 2022, it's 11 to 13 years. Parts of the U.S. people have been living in their homes for 15 to 18 years. I've lived in my house for 18 years. So it's a much different dynamic than what previous generations have had to deal with.
Well, it really is, especially when you put it that way. I want to go ahead and float something past you. I don't really know if there's a solution here, but we're talking about these younger generations that are stuck in these apartments and these smaller condos. And then we have these older generations stuck in these homes that are just too big for them. So both are essentially looking for a swap, right? What needs to happen for both the younger generations and the older generations to get exactly what they want? And is it at all feasible? And who really is losing out here? Is it renters? Is it buyers? Should people just not even be looking to buy at this time?
Unfortunately, the baby boomers look like they're just going to stay in their homes until they pass off. And that's something that could happen a little bit more toward the end of this decade. The millennials are here already. They've been the biggest home buyers in America for a few years now. Gen Z is still too young. There was really no kind of easy solution to this. Millions and millions of people buy homes every single year: move-up buyers, move-down buyers, cash buyers, investors, and first-time home buyers. Now the housing inflation story is historic. And it's not just home prices, it's rent inflation too. So there's kind of nowhere to hide, but people who have bought homes over the last 2 decades, they're doing great. I mean, if you think about it, it's almost first world problems. They had a fixed debt product. Their wages have been rising for years. They've refinanced multiple times. So there is some good news in the sense that homeowners are in a much better spot than, let's say, what we saw from 2002 to 2008, where that was a credit bubble. But again, that's part of the supply problem. Traditionally, looking at the NAR data, we got about 2 to 2.5 million homes listing listings going back to the early 1980s. We started the year off at 870,000. Even with the big mortgage rate rise and demand falling, we're at 1.26 million. So we're not even anywhere back to, let's say, the normal trends of inventory in the previous expansion. It's just a savagely unhealthy market that really it's hard to fix at this stage. And right now, since mortgage rates have gone up so fast, the home builders are pretty much done building until they could sell the homes that they have. So there is no easy, quick fix here. We just kind of have to grind it out. And hopefully, when we think of home sellers are traditionally home buyers as well. Hopefully more and more of them start listing their homes and finding buyers where they can start moving. But as we see right now, total inventory on a historical basis is still low.
All right. So what is your prediction for the future then? I mean, what are you forecasting overall? Because every time the Fed meets, it seems like they keep on raising rates. So what does that mean for the future? Are we headed towards a recession? Do we see another 2008? Does the 2010 Dodd-Frank Act prevent that? What do you see? How do you forecast like the next 3 to 5 years, or maybe even just next year?
There is no 2008 anymore. Credit profiles in America changed after 2010. Homeowners look better than ever. So we don't have that dynamic anymore for 2008. The Federal Reserve has been aggressively hiking rates, but mortgage rates have recently fallen 1%. That 1% decline in mortgage rates is basically the bond market telling everyone that we're getting really close to like a traditional job loss recession. So no, even if the Fed starts talking more aggressively, all that does is feed into the downtrend in economic data. And I think that's one of the reasons why mortgage rates have fallen 1%. The bond market and the mortgage rates are sniffing out a recession. And traditionally speaking, going back from 1982 all the way down, when we go into a recession, mortgage rates fall, bond yields fall. So there's a tug of war between what the Federal Reserve wants to do and what the bond market is telling them. No, we're toward the end of this expansion. We're going to be soon hitting a job loss recession. However, even with all that, nothing is 2008. I always stress to people in 2005, 2006, 2007, and 8, people were filing for foreclosures and bankruptcies before the job loss recession happened. Now it's much different. Homeowners on paper have never looked better. We just got a recent data from the New York Fed showing that cash flows look great. Foreclosures and bankruptcies are low. It's much different than that cycle. But as long as mortgage rates stay high, sales trends can't really grow. And the builders are looking to slow down housing production until rates fall back down.
All right, so it sounds like the housing market is going to soften, and I have to let you go, but quickly, just one word. If you had the option, rent or buy right now?
Housing is the cost of shelter. Every home buyer who's ready to buy typically buys. Renters typically don't have the incomes to purchase a home, and that's the way the data has looked for the last 2 or 3 decades. And right now, the only reason home sales are falling is an affordability issue. It's not an inventory issue. We just got hit on the affordability side in the biggest fashion in recent modern day history.
All right. Logan Mohtashami, got to leave it right there. Thank you so much for your time today. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.